Welcome to the Awakened Impact podcast, where the new paradigm starts here. I'm your host, Kimberly Lebbing, master coach, trainer, and creator of the Paradigm Shift Method. In each episode, you'll hear real, unfiltered conversations with soul-led entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers here to create lasting change. If you're here to lead with purpose, embody your gifts, and create an impact from the inside out, you're in the right place. Hi, and welcome back to the Awaken Impact podcast. Today's guest is someone who brings heart, honesty, and a fierce devotion to helping others trust what they truly want. Peige Rosales. Paige is a dream defender, a truth teller, and a guide for those navigating life transitions, passion projects, and purpose-driven pivots. She's here to remind us that desire isn't frivolous, it's sacred. It's a compass pointing us back to who we really are. And in this episode, we're diving into the power of desire, the courage it takes to listen to your inner voice, and what becomes possible when you stop waiting and start trusting. Whether you're in a season of reinvention or feeling the pull towards something more, this conversation will stir something in you. So let's dive in. Welcome, Paige.
Thank you, Kim. I'm really excited to be here.
I am so excited about this conversation. I would love to start with first give us a little background. Where are you tuning in from? Tell us a little bit about you and where you're tuning in from.
Absolutely. So I am tuning in from my van, currently in Denver, Colorado. I'm a part-time van dweller, and that's been true for a couple of years now. So this is home. This is my little girl, Bella Marie, and Bella's brother, Skippy John, is over here, and they are needing afternoon cuddles. So we're talking, we're chatting and cuddling.
I love it. We're just going to roll with it. I know a lot of your work is rooted in desire, and this word is powerful and it can also be misunderstood. So tell us a little bit about how you define desire and why you believe it's such a sacred part of our purpose.
I love this question because a lot of times when we think about desire, I think people think about either sexual desire and so yay, sexual desire. And that's not primarily where I land, although certainly I'm not afraid of it. And I'm open to exploring that with people. Desire is sacred. And I'm just going to tell you that the way I came to this work is I've had an amazing life. So it's not like I haven't lived this big, juicy life. But a lot of it had to do with luck or circumstance or divine intervention or whatever. So after college and work and community, I was doing volunteer work. And then I got married and I became an instant stepmom. And, I'd lived this life where there was always something else demanding my time and attention. And it was great. Like if somebody said, would you rather do X or go to a softball game? All of a sudden, I'm an empty nester. I'm divorced. And a friend leaned in and said, I remember when I was single, every day it's like anything can happen. You can do anything you want. And what I wanted to do was throw up because I had no wanting something, desiring something all on my own terrified me. I didn't know how to get it right. I hadn't had permission to truly want something. In fact, I remember, I think it was 2019, my word of the year was desire. And after 3 months, I changed the word. It was too big. It was too much. But of course, I had already made the commitment. I was in it. And so it continued to show up. So my definition of desire, it's the thing that's inside of us that we're seeing or not seeing, that we're embracing or ignoring, that is a divine whisper of who we came here to be. It may be mission driven, so it may be this business that I currently have that I didn't know I wanted until I allowed myself to lean into what was really alive for me now. And it may be something as simple as completing a jigsaw puzzle all on my own because that healed something from when I was small. So, whatever the desire is, how grand or how mundane, it's something speaking from our soul. It's a whisper from the universe or spirit or God to be more of who we came here to be. Are you done with this? Okay, there you go.
I love this answer, and just thinking while you were talking, like, this is something, this desire that people ignore, the ignoring part. I just wanna, like, go into that because I feel like that's just people that are empty nesters and divorced and, in a new phase of life. I feel like that's a lot. That's probably most people.
Mhm. I think so too. One of the things that I've desired as a grown mom with grown kids is to have truly authentic, open relationships with my children. And one of my kids said to me, I wish that you had given me a picture of an adult who does things that she wants to do, who put herself first, who made her own desires and wishes front and center, because they're having to do a whole lot of unlearning about what it means to be an adult born in a female body, struggling with making it okay to be someone who has passions and creativity and desires, who has desires.
Yeah, I can see that, and I just see, like, part of it's just I don't wanna say it's just our programming, but the way the world is and the way a lot of us have been brought up, and it's the way that is, so it's just that programming coming in, and looking to what you really desire and what really lights you up is not even a thought.
Absolutely. And I want to be clear, I mentioned being a woman because I am one. I think it's true no matter how you show up on the planet. We're given a list of what's acceptable,
Mm.
what people are supposed to do based upon how we show up as infants and then who our families are and what we have access to. We were a football family. Well, good news. My brother liked to play football, but if he hadn't, what might that have meant? And he's also extremely artistic. So the parts of him that were uplifted are very different than all of the parts of him. And as an adult, he's now exploring writing for the first time in years. Really, I believe, and I've seen it over and over and over again. The person who has a business or who is in business, a business leader in a corporation or whatever, who has this passion that they want to bring forward, people who have hobbies they'd like to express. There are these rich, deep parts of ourselves that make the world better, that elevate the vibration of the planet simply by being the most authentically expressed aspect of ourselves. We show up differently for people in relationships. We're healthier. When we are doing our passion, we call in people and give them permission to do their passion, which is just this exponential happiness puddle that ripples out and ripples out and ripples out.
Oh, I love it. And that brings me to like, there's so many people like we see that we see this vision, but there's a lot of people that have these passion projects and they never complete. What do you see are the biggest blocks that keeps them from moving forward?
Some of the things we've talked about, that's such a good question. A lot of Most of the time, there's a story. There's
Okay.
something is that the person isn't looking at, that's uncomfortable to look at, or they don't even know to look at. The story about some of them are, "Oh, our kind of people don't do that,"
Mm,
whatever that means. So, for me, in terms of business, my stepdad had his own business for years, but it was not profitable. And there was a whole story about having a successful or unsuccessful business and having to look at that. Or let's say you wanted to tap dance, but your family couldn't afford dance lessons. A lot of times it has to do with these stories about what's available to someone like me. The other part, though, and I think it's a similar thing, but one of the things that I've become super aware of is the idea comes in and it has been rejected for so long that there's an automatic denying or putting down or just ignoring, like, "Oh, no, that's decision has already been made." So that's one thing, and then the second, so that's the big question of the limiting belief. Let's say there's a puddle of limiting belief. Then there's the, "What if I actually become the person who does that? How do I become the person who pole dances? How do I become the person
yeah.
who crochets? How do I become the person who shifts my business to be more like, for example, your shift has just been a huge inspiration. How do I become the person who still has a business, who has a successful business, but who is more of who I am, and I can bring more of who I am into the business world?" Becoming that person requires taking a risk. It requires becoming more of who we are, which often requires looking at a part of ourselves that kept us safe for a long time and saying, "Thank you so much, but it's okay. I can go be more, bigger." And I tell this story about my jigsaw puzzle journey, but even that, doing a jigsaw puzzle all by myself and not having it co-opted, part of me had to bring that 8-year-old kid along and say, "It's okay, we can do this now." There's a lot of tender work, and sometimes we also just aren't sure how.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
there's the energy parts, but then there's the practical part. How do we do this? How do we do this efficiently? How do we do this? I'm 62 years old and I started a business 2 years ago. How do we do this efficiently? I want to become a business person, and I want to become a business person who's doing it well. So sometimes it's just, how do I find how to do the thing I want to do?
So tell us a little bit about how you transition people or help them move past those stumbling blocks or puddle, as you call
I
it.
would I would love to. Okay. Pardon me just a moment, Bella. I'm gonna need you to go lie down. We're done. Go lie down. I love you. And that's all right. And so there is, for folks who aren't sure of what it is they actually are interested in and curious about, I have a program that's called Desire Discovery. And that's fun because we do some assessment, we poke around, we just play. and find out. In fact, in November, I've got a retreat. It's called the Desire Discovery Playground, where we're going to get together in a group and do some of this work to shake things up and try on some new things and look at what it might feel like to discover new possibilities. That's a lot of fun. And I can work with people one on one. I've got this retreat coming up. And then we also do some group work to do desire discovery, which really is about playing around in a supportive and supported setting so that whether we're picking up knitting needles or cuffs, whatever, whatever we're interested in doing, and we don't have to share all our business if we don't want to, but there's just a playful exploration of what's possible today in this life, in this body as we exist wherever we are. And then for folks who know what it is, so there's a passion project, a book, a course, or a program that they're really excited about. And it's the thing that isn't happening, usually because there are the thousand other things. And I'll get to that when there's time. That program is Desire to Done. And so in that, that is usually a one-on-one program where we work together to get their program or their book or whatever mapped out. We take concrete action to make it happen. And then when those little things come up, like, that feels sticky, or, oh, can I really say that? Or whatever it is that's the thing in the way, we work that thing, we massage it and shift that energy so that we're able to continue to make it happen, whether it's getting a book ready to publish or an offer stack ready to launch or a workshop written, rolled, whatever it is.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. So now I want to shift to looking at the bigger picture, like the collective. So, what do you see desire playing in the larger collective that we're seeing right? And I don't want to name like a certain group, but just what do you see? How do you see this playing out with the larger collective?
I really think that the question of the larger collective is important because I don't think it's one group or one subfaction or whatever.
I agree.
I, I think I think that there is a deep, deep desire for connection. And to feel connected, we need to feel safe. We need to feel seen. We need to feel celebrated.
Mm.
Those are primal human desires. And having, we could talk about what happens when desire gets denied. And I think that even just saying those words are so powerful. We can feel that sort of collapsing inward. When we begin to be able to do things that light us up genuinely, sometimes those things are very insular, singular things, like mapping out an afternoon a week to read because it feeds my spirit. So that when I emerge from that, I am more fully and completely who I came here to be, which means that I can connect with you. If you are noticing that that lights me up, and then I'm feeling seen, and then you feel yourself seeing me, there's just that lovely infinity loop of human connection. And that's the tiniest thing between partners or friends or parents and children or siblings. And then we start to expand that. We see someone taking time to go running because it feeds them. and then they meet someone else on the running trail or not. Some people want to be solo runners, but I'm really trying to paint a picture here of it really doesn't matter what the desire is. If we are living more authentically, we're seeing each other. We're beginning to value our own desires, then we value other people's desires, which means that we are more open-hearted toward, as we would say where I'm from, if it floats your boat, it sails mine. Basically, I don't care what you do.
I love that.
If it makes you happy, I'm happy for you. It doesn't have to be my passion. When you make room for your passion, and I witness you making room for your passion, I have space for my passion. And we create these little joy paths of recognition.
I really love that. That's gonna stick with you. If it floats your boat, sails mine.
What's your boat? It sails mine. And in the South, sometimes things can be double-edged, but that one really is, I just, love it for you. I remember talking to someone once, and they asked, we had been in relationship with someone who had a deep interest that neither of us were interested in specifically. But this friend witnessed me in relationship to this person. I asked curious because I really do care. Like, if you're excited about it, I want to know. I want to know why you're excited. I want to know what about it excites you. I want to know what happens when you go in that deep. And this person asked me about that. And I said, yeah, I don't care about that. But when I watch this person we both care for be so passionate about this hobby, it was a very pedestrian hobby. I want to see them light up like that. So it's not that I care about the hobby, it's that I care about how they light up. And I think that that's the beauty of desire. Yeah.
And I can see collectively when we're all pursuing the desire that feeds us, that fuels our heart, and we are being seen and we're, being celebrated for that, it's uplifting the whole planet.
Quantum physicists tell us that this energy is measurable and that when we are vibrating at that higher vibration, we're healthier, we're happier, we're more connected. Our blood pressure goes down. We get our dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and that one that begins with an E whose name I can't ever remember. Absolutely. It's better for all of us.
Definitely. So if someone's really feeling the nudge of a dream or a desire, what's one small, powerful step they can take to begin?
So I'm going to stick to 2 or 3. How's that?
Totally fine. There's no rules here.
No, thank you. So one thing that I think is really important is to do the concrete imaging, the manifestation, the thinking about it. And what that helps us do is it helps us get really clear and really specific. So for example, I love I love to dance. And when I was younger, I did ballet and I've done various and sundry things. But what I did, I thought about taking a class. I thought about doing a couples dancing. And I just thought that just feels, particularly moving around, it doesn't feel accessible. But what is it? So I got really concrete. Like, I imagined the feel of the dancing, what I really am looking for. I'm really just looking for opportunities to dance. Oh, and by the way, I don't want to go to the clubs, which really get hopping at 11 o'clock at night. I need to be in bed because my jammies are on at 9. Well, then I started looking for ecstatic dance opportunities, and there are lots of them. There are ecstatic dance opportunities almost everywhere, and many of them are in the mornings or in the early evenings. So that helped me to figure out what's the feeling I want, what's my desire, what could make that possible. So that's the first thing. Really imagine it. Maybe that means journaling, maybe it means just guided imagery. You can guide yourself, get a friend to take you on a little journey of what is it that you really want. The second thing is take a step. It might be finding where to go. It might be finding where to get the materials and equipment. It might be looking on YouTube to figure out how that thing even works. I have a friend who refurbishes old radios, like radios from circa 1920s, 30s, 40s, like that. Well, if people don't know how to do stuff, you can go find out how to get started on that on YouTube.
Right.
If you're interested, there's a way to learn how to do it. So then take those concrete steps. And then the third thing I would say is if it feels aligned, enroll a friend. Maybe it's enrolling a friend to go with you. Maybe it's enrolling a friend to be your accountability buddy. So, for example, if what you really want to do is join the running group that meets on Saturdays at the local park, and that seems a little bit like risky or scary, or the bike group or whatever, tell your friend when they're meeting, where they're meeting, and then promise to call the friend before you, like from the car. Okay, I'm there. I'm going in now. And then call the friend when you've done it. I'm just going to say, sometimes you might call the friend and say, I decided I can't do it today, but we're going to do it next week. That's okay too. It's taking those actions and looking at the feelings that are coming up.
And I love how you really laid out a clear picture. They're all practical steps, and it all makes perfect sense to be able to really move a desire forward. So, love it. Tell our listeners what's the best way to connect with you? How can they find you?
All righty. So I have a website. I have a calendar link. And I have a couple of free giveaways that I'd love to tell you about. So my website is ruggeddiva.com. It is always under construction, but you can reach me there, and there's a calendar link there. I'll also give you a calendar link if people would just like to book a chat. So that's ruggeddiva.com. And then I've got a couple of giveaways that I'm really kind of excited about. One of them, for the person who has the passion project that just keeps not getting done, I have how to unstick your passion project desire to done flow chart, which basically helps you look at like what you know about your program or project. And then it steps you through to help you figure out what's the next step and how you can shake that loose. And then for folks who are more of the, I've got the, like I was when my friend said, you can do anything you want. And I was like, yeah, I have no idea what any of that means. I have a game. I have a deck of cards that you can print out and cut out and play with. It's a desire discovery deck. And I've got some game rules that you can do with yourself or with another person, or you can just look at them and see what sparks interest. I will definitely send you a link for those so that if folks are interested, they can download the round and have fun. Oh, and then of course they can reach me through those things.
Yes. And then we'll have all the links in the show notes so you can click right on those and connect with Paige. And Paige, I just want to say thank you for being on today. I loved this conversation. I think you gave our listeners a lot to think about when it comes to desire.
Thank you, Kim. I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is one thing that is on your horizon that you desire? Your next thing that you're leaning into?
Oh, my next thing. I'm sort of already leaning into it.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
I am already leaning into it, and that is I've created a certification program to be more flexible so that people can come in at any time rather than a set date. And this was really long in the works. It's funny how this was the thing I didn't know that I wanted. Certification was long. I probably needed you a couple of years ago because that was something that popped in, and then I said no, and then it again, then I said no, and then I did a little bit, kind of playing safe. Like there was just all these iterations of it, and now finally stepping full into it. But that's probably the big thing, and that's just I haven't even talked about it publicly. So that's the next step, except for right now.
Except for right now. So
For right now,
I love that, and my whole body is lit up because I love the story of how you came to it, and that is the thing about desire. Sometimes it's something that it has been there for a while, and then sometimes it's something that evolves over time. Thank you for sharing that. I really
oh, you're quite welcome. Quite welcome. So it's beautiful.
It was beautiful. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
you're welcome. Stop. Thanks for tuning in to the Awaken Impact podcast. If today's episode resonated, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who's ready to rise. You can learn more about the Paradigm Shift Method at KimberlyLebbing.com or connect with me on my YouTube channel at Kimberly Lebbing. Until next time, keep leading the way.